going into your ninth anniversary that's coming up, going into year 10, it's double digits. Like not a
Yep.
lot of service live service games last double digits. And then on top of that, you guys did something that no one had ever really done, was a complete graphical overhaul. Like
Yep.
Matthew, you've been here since the beginning. Like what's it been like seeing your behavior in this game evolve from being a booth at PAX trying to get people to play it to like beating people off with a stick because everyone wants to work with you in some capacity?
I'm so tired. But no, it's incredible. Seriously, and I'm looking forward to it. Next week we'll be on the stage. We'll have a gigantic booth at PAX. And it's funny because I just looked at the floor plan, and it's literally like two booths down from where we were on that very, very first time we were there. But we had the smallest booth you can get at PAX, literally, and with like four black walls and TVs, and that was it. We had no budget. It was just
I had a
like,
beanie. I had one of your first beanies
Yep.
you made in my closet. Yeah.
there you go. We were wide-eyed and hopeful and going, I think we have something really neat here with our 3 killers and 4 survivors. And we're like, I hope people like it. And they did. And they did. But the biggest eye-opener for us was really the reception of the people at the booth, the gigantic booth that was just next door, which was the Twitch booth. And when the stream with Twitch, which was a very small thing at the time, right? They had like 200 employees. It was a minuscule little thing that just started. And the Twitch streamers came by and they told us, they're like, this is going to be gold for us, right? You're making me infinite moments when I can freak out and overreact to shit and just make a good show for people watching me. So thank you. We're like, okay, well, here's a few codes, enjoy. And it started there. And today, 10 years later, we're working with some of the most legendary horror franchises out there. We're integrating, I mean, we got Nick Cage and Iron Maiden and fucking Stranger Things. Like it's insane.
No, Jay, your job as a designer of killers, how does that work for you? Do you work on one killer at a time, or are you juggling multiple killers and like have to kind of designate your time in between each one?
I'm lucky enough to have come onto the project once it was matured so that I could work and focus on one killer at a time. Our senior designer, or our principal designer, excuse me, he's been here for a long time, and there was a point where he was juggling multiple. And he's the kind of guy who's like, yeah, well, I did it, no problem, but like one killer is enough for me. I'm like, it's almost a year of work per killer. It's 10 months. Like it's much, as you said, it's much more than you would imagine. You say, well, it's just a character. You make a model, you figure out some mechanics, and it's done. But it is 10 months from beginning to end of 40, 50 hours a week, whatever we do, and yeah, I couldn't imagine doing more than one killer.
Yeah.
I'm on salary, so I don't get overtime. So
No.
sorry, maybe cut that out. Sorry.
That's
No,
okay.
there's no. Behavior's been very good about no crunch culture. They've been very, like Matthew's been very open about that. Yeah, they're very they're very mindful of that.
And I'm not saying nobody's ever worked overtime at behavior. That's an outright lie, but it's certainly not ever part of our planning, right? And I think that whenever we have to work a little extra, people understand that it's because like this matters, and this is we need to make sure that this is the best it can be, and then you go on vacation to make up for it.
Matthew, your role at the company has changed too over the last decade.
Oh yeah.
Do you miss the days where you could have just like leaned back in your chair, go to your design, and be like, hey, why don't you just make that a 2 to a 1 and see, and just make that live and see how that works? Like, do you miss those days? Because now I feel like you're tied up in approvals and testing.
A little, but and it was kind of magical. Like you're right. We could I'd jump on somebody's stream on Twitch. It was just me going, hey, I make the game. Would you like to do something with us? And then we'd say, oh, the artist that's sitting right next to me, I'd go, okay, can you put his logo on a t-shirt for Nia for tomorrow? And they'd like, yeah, sure, whatever, just smack it on and release it. And then we'd patch, and literally it's me uploading it on Steam. Like, all of these things are great today. Like, I'm saying that, and Jay's unbelieving because that's insane. Like, we would not do that today, and we have so many platforms and like certification for each of them. Like, we have to be careful. You don't want to just have a dude like me pressing the button to make a build live. Like, this is nightmare fuel for a lot of people on the team. Also, the thing you have to know is that whenever we release content, we try to one up ourselves, right? And we make a new map and we're like, okay, we'll chuck so many little Easter eggs, like the Silent Hill map, so many little secrets in there, like the sequence of things you can do to unlock the other thing that's from this game, like so many little things we hide in there, so much content, as opposed to, let's say, the Macmillan Estate, the first version. Think about that, right? It was a simple building, it was empty, there was nothing in it, because that's how we made them back then. But every time we do that, we set a new bar, and the next one has to be just a little better than last one. Like, we can't do worse. And so that cadence that we set for ourselves, we've of course added a lot more people to the team, but at some point we have to realize that, like, maybe that's plenty. And that's why this year, for instance, we pushed a lot of things so we could actually take the time to do some quality of life improvement and things like that. We sort of gave ourselves the permission to make the game better and fix a few things, because that cadence of release of content is intense.
It's grueling. Yeah, you said this next time it's 5. It's 5 DLCs
Yeah, but
this last year.
It's not 5 chapters. Like, some of them might just be one killer. We've done, like, for instance, Alan Wake is just a survivor. Of course,
Right.
It makes sense because it's Alan Wake, but I'm talking about 5 big releases this year, but some of them will not be a killer, a survivor, and a map, for sure, right?
What are you most excited about for people to experience this next year in Dead by Daylight? Jay, we'll start with you.
I mean, I think I get to be biased and say Springtrap. To be perfectly honest, I don't know the whole roadmap. I try to focus on just what I'm doing so I don't get distracted by stuff. There is some really cool stuff that I do know about. Obviously, we can't talk about it, but I'm going to be biased and say, obviously, I'm really excited for people to see Springtrap and see what people think.
I think that the choose your own chapter is gonna be super fun to, and not just the chapter itself when it releases. I think that the process, like that journey that we're gonna take with the community to go through, and to a certain extent, it's sort of lifting the veil and telling people, this is what it is for us to create original chapters. Usually these are the conversations that we have, these are the decisions that we make internally, and we sit around the table and we go, should we make a supernatural killer this time, or someone that's more grounded in reality? Should we be making a killer that is contemporary or from Victorian era? Like all of these things we do internally, and we weigh that against each other and people's desires and, I don't know, player surveys and whatnot. So this time it's going to be something that we do with people, and I think it's going to be a really fun thing. I think I was saying that to Dave yesterday, our creative director. Like, it's either going to be like a genius idea, a really stupid thing that we've done, and history will tell. But for sure, it's going to be fun. And I like that we're taking chances and sort of swinging for the fence, because at its root, that's what we did with Dead by Daylight, right? Even when we released the game, like I was saying, with 3 killers and 4 survivors and a couple of maps, we didn't try to make a game that was easy. We knew it was going to be hard to make an asymmetrical game. There were none or almost none back then. Like, we had barely done any multiplayer in the past. We didn't know, but it sounded like something super fun, and that's why we did it, and we took a chance and it worked. And we kept taking chances along the way, and I think that sort of risk-taking attitude is something that maybe we've put aside a little bit over the years, which is absolutely understandable. It's not just the 30 of us that are sort of in between projects and behavior doing something. It's 300-400 people right now, every single day, dedicating their life and their talent and their expertise to a project. So you don't want to completely fuck it up, but I think it's important for us to still take shots and try things. I think the 2v8, My Little Oni, the Chaos Shuffle, what's the Lights Out, all of these show that we still have a desire to have fun and to switch things up and to try things that are a little silly, and most of them stick, right?
Can we get a Shacknews charm? That would be great. We can give you we can give you the assets. We want a Shacknews charm that you can hang on the
If you
in the
were
game.
to ask me that 9 years ago,
You-
I'd do it myself.
You would have stamped it. You'd be like, yeah, absolutely,
I'm
whatever you
just
need.
like, I'll boot up like 3D Max and I'll make the model myself, which is what we would do. But today it's harder. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's harder.
So,
But you have to talk to, because now we have a department of
well, who can I
influencer
contact about
management
that?
and
Because I'll have my
content
EXC
creators.
reach out.
We'll see.
Okay. Did I see that Hellraiser's leaving, right?
You saw that, yes.
Okay. So I just want to curious because this happened with Stranger Things.
Yeah.
And now it's happening with Hellraiser. Like, what can you tell us that happens that causes this? Are you allowed to tell us? Can you not say, like, because you were really
Again-
frustrated about the Stranger Things. You were really upset about that. And you were like, I never want this to happen again. And I was like, damn it, Matthew said you didn't want it to happen again. The poor guy, it's happening again.
Which is true. This is never something that we prefer to do. It's nothing that we decide to do because we want to remove it from players. It's just not. Now, the world of licenses is exceedingly complex. It is very difficult to navigate. It's full of different people who have different versions of every license. There's complications that arise, especially American licenses. Rights can revert to different things after 40 years. Like, that's a law that exists only in the States. Like, there's many, many different things. I'm not saying that this is what happened in this case. I'm just saying there's a lot of pitfalls and difficulties and things that can arise in this case. As with Stranger Things, it's not a decision that we take, but if it happens, and we have to deal with it. As with Stranger Things, if it's possible to bring them back, we will strive to do that. Yeah.
It's stripes. It's like someone somewhere not getting what they want anymore, right? And then that's it. I'm interested because
Stuff happens.
I'm interested because I feel like you would learn a lot. Your contracts be like, no, we get this character forever, regardless of who switches hands, and you get this whatever out of it, regardless of.
Obviously, I try to put that in writing in contracts. There is not a lawyer alive who likes to see the word forever in a contract. That's just not a thing. The one thing that we always put in there, though, and that you can take to the bank, is if you buy content in Dead by Daylight, you continue to own it. We will not remove it from your hands once you've purchased it. However, the opportunity to purchase is the thing that is in question. So yeah, it's not our decision, and forever contracts don't exist. That's just not a thing.